Listen closely, for the words you speak carry power greater than you imagine. Your voice is not a mere sound. It is the architect of your fate, the instrument through which divine law moves and shapes your life. There are words you utter daily without thought, words that bind you to old pains, chains of fear, and invisible prisons. And there are words you dare not say until your soul is ready, until your spirit has made peace with release. This teaching is a sacred warning. Don't ever say certain words unless you are truly ready to let go. Because speaking without readiness is like opening a door to the storm without shelter. It invites chaos into your heart and confusion into your path. Many have spoken their release too soon and found themselves lost in the wilderness of delay, pain, and shattered hope. But there is also a promise that when you do speak the word of release with true readiness, the heavens respond with swift and perfect restoration. There is freedom in letting go. There is power in surrender. There is life beyond the walls you once clung to. You have been holding on, haven't you? Holding on to relationships that drain you, jobs that diminish you, beliefs that no longer serve you, identities that confine you. You feel the tension, the ache, the silent cry of your spirit yearning for freedom. But fear has whispered, "Not yet, not now." And so you cling harder. You wrestle with what was instead of stepping into what will be. But I say to you now, your words are gates. Your voice is the key. If you speak release too soon, without the sacred readiness, your word becomes a curse, a heavy stone that drags you down deeper. But if you speak release when your soul is ripe, your word becomes a doorway, an opening for grace, for peace, for new beginnings. The moment you say the sacred phrase, prepared, certain, free, your spirit aligns with divine timing. You will feel the winds shift. You will sense the chains fall. You will know you are no longer captive to the past. Today, I will teach you the phrase you must never say unless you are truly ready to let go. I will reveal the spiritual law that governs release and restoration. I will show you how to discern readiness, how to prepare your heart and mind, and how to reclaim your power once you've surrendered. This is not about loss. This is about transformation, not about despair, but about destiny. And it begins with the word. There is a law deeper than grief, a law more profound than resistance. It is the law of release, the sacred principle that governs every ending and every new beginning. This law is not about giving up or failure. It is about surrendering to divine order so that your life may realign with the eternal flow. To hold on to what must be released is to hold a closed fist in a world meant for open hands. And the open hand is the posture of faith, freedom, and spiritual maturity. Imagine this. You carry a cup filled to the brim, but your hands are clenched so tightly the cup spills and breaks. Your grasping does not secure, it destroys. So it is with the soul that refuses to let go, clutching to pain, to old patterns, to identities that no longer serve, only creates rupture and loss. The law of release invites you to unclench, to loosen, to open your hands and your heart, not in weakness, but in strength. Ecclesiastes 3:1 reminds us, "To everything there is a season, and a time to every purpose under the heaven." There is a divine timing to release. To every attachment, a season. To every chapter, a closing. When you honor this season, you honor the natural order of spirit. You invite grace, you clear space, you prepare soil for new seed. But release is not passive. It is not resignation. It is a holy act of faith. When you say, "I let go," with spirit and sincerity, you are commanding the law to move your old burden out of your field and invite new blessing in. You are not breaking ties with God's provision. You are breaking ties with limitation. Many mistake release for defeat. They think surrender means loss. But surrender is a gateway to restoration. It is the act that tells heaven, "I am ready for newness. I am willing to step into more." Without it, you cling to shadows. With it, you step into light. So hear me. The words you speak to yourself, the words you declare about your circumstances, carry immense power. The phrase you say before releasing is the sacred sentence that sets the stage for the miracle. But beware, if spoken before readiness, it seals delay, confusion, and regret. Release is sacred, and it requires reverence. It requires readiness, and it requires truth. Say this now. I honor the season of release. I surrender with faith. I open to divine renewal. Let that be the posture of your spirit as we now prepare to speak of the phrase you must never say unless you are truly ready. There is a phrase, simple, direct, powerful, that many speak without understanding its weight. This phrase can either unlock your freedom or bind you deeper into delay, depending on your readiness to release what you speak about. The phrase is, I give up, or I can't have this anymore. These words sound like relief, like honesty. But spoken prematurely, without spiritual maturity and inner peace, they become spiritual contracts, vows that imprison instead of liberate. I have seen souls who, in moments of despair, utter these words and find themselves trapped longer than before. They announce surrender with their mouth, but their spirit was not prepared to let go. The law hears the declaration, but not the hesitation behind it. The word becomes a decree. The universe responds, not to your pain, but to your speech. Let me share a story. A man clung to a business that drained his soul. Frustrated and fearful, he finally said, I give up. But his heart was not at peace. His mind was tangled in doubt. As a result, his business fell apart, and so did his confidence. It took years to rebuild because the release was spoken in defeat, not in divine timing. You must learn discernment. You must wait for readiness. Release spoken without peace is not release. It is surrender to chaos. Release spoken with faith, in divine order, becomes a gateway to restoration. So how do you know when to speak these words? How do you avoid premature surrender? How do you discern between letting go and giving up? Before you speak this phrase, ask yourself, do I feel inner peace about this release? Is my spirit aligned with divine will, or is it fleeing pain? Am I opening space for blessing or shutting the door in fear? Have I waited on divine timing, or am I acting from desperation? Only when the answer is yes to peace, alignment, faith, and timing are you ready to say, I give up and I release this with love and gratitude. Speak with rhythm. Speak with heart. Speak with confidence that this release is sacred, not sorrowful. Say it quietly now and feel the difference. I release this with love and gratitude. I step into divine renewal. Remember, words spoken carry consequences beyond the ear. They move the unseen. They shape the scene. Guard this phrase as you would a precious treasure. Use it only when your soul is ripe. Discernment is the compass of the soul. Knowing when to hold and when to release is a sacred art, one taught by spirit through silence, peace, and alignment. Too often we mistake desperation for readiness. We confuse bitterness for bravery. We hear the echo of pain and call it release. But true readiness comes not from the clamoring of the mind, but from the calm of the spirit. How can you tell if your heart is ripe for letting go? Here are the signs the Spirit will give you, the signals of sacred readiness. 1. Inner peace prevails. You feel calm where before there was turmoil. The restless fight has softened into quiet acceptance, not resignation, but surrender. Peace is not passive. It is a powerful presence that confirms your alignment. 2. Absence of fear and resistance. Your body no longer braces. Your mind no longer rebels. You do not seek control or fix what must be freed. Instead, you breathe deeply and trust the unseen currents to carry you. 3. Alignment with divine will. You sense the hand of spirit guiding your choice. Your release is not a retreat, but a step into a higher path. It feels right, even if it is hard. Contrast this with false readiness, when bitterness, frustration, or avoidance drive the urge to let go. This is the voice of the ego, not spirit. It leads to confusion and delay, not freedom. Consider the metaphor of fruit ripening. You cannot force the harvest. You cannot pick the fruit before it is ready, or it will rot. You must wait for the signs, the color, the scent, the softness. Only then is the release sacred and fruitful. Listen for the Spirit's timing. Listen for your soul's whisper. The right moment will bring clarity and courage, not chaos and fear. Say this now, with breath and certainty. I wait in peace for the right moment. I release only when my soul is ready. Your readiness is a covenant with divine order. It honors the sacred law that governs every ending and every beginning. And now, knowing readiness, you prepare to speak release with power. When your spirit has ripened and your heart has found peace, the words you speak to release become a holy decree, an act of spiritual sovereignty that initiates renewal, restoration, and divine compensation. This is no casual utterance, no reluctant farewell. It is a sacred command, spoken with rhythm, faith, and love. It is the language of transformation itself. Consider these examples of powerful declarations for release. Phrases that, when spoken with conviction, break the chains of the past and open the gates to new blessings. I release this with love and gratitude, trusting divine order to restore and renew. This declaration honors what was while inviting what is to come. It blesses the past instead of resisting it. I surrender this path to the perfect will of Spirit, knowing that better good is already prepared. Here, you relinquish control, aligning your will with divine timing and infinite wisdom. I open space in my life for greater good, and I welcome the blessings that now flow freely. You create an energetic vacuum that invites abundance, grace, and unexpected miracles. These words are not mere affirmations. They are spiritual instruments that activate the law of substitution, removing old conditions and making room for the new. They work alongside the law of divine compensation, which promises that nothing is lost and all is returned multiplied. Speak your release aloud, slowly, rhythmically. Let every syllable carry your faith. Let your breath become a sacred drumbeat, calling forth renewal. Remember, the spoken word is law. It moves what is invisible into form. It tells the universe, this chapter is closed, the next is open. The old must fall so the new may rise. Say this now as a sacred prayer and declaration. I release with love, I surrender with faith, I receive with gratitude. Feel the weight lift. Feel the space open. Know that with this word, you have planted the seed of divine transformation. To release is not just to speak words. It is to prepare the inner sanctuary of your mind and heart for sacred transformation. Too often, surrender is mistaken for defeat, and the soul resists even the thought of letting go. But true surrender is a mighty act of courage, a spiritual rebirth, a clearing of the way for the new. It requires mental and emotional preparation, a steady breathing into the unknown with trust as your compass. Begin by visualizing the release. See yourself gently setting down the heavy burden you've carried, the relationship, the job, the belief, the identity. Imagine yourself opening your hands and letting go, not with pain, but with peace. See the old story dissolve like mist, making room for light to enter. Visualize the space being filled with divine light, love, and new possibility. Speak these affirmations with breath and intention, allowing them to soak into your being. I am willing to let go to receive what is better. I surrender all fear and open fully to divine grace. I trust the timing and wisdom of Spirit in this release. Peace fills the space where resistance once lived. This preparation calms the mind's chatter and soothes the heart's resistance. It rewires your emotional response from panic or sorrow to peace and trust. It rewrites the narrative from "I am losing" to "I am growing." Recognize that surrender does not mean loss of power. It is a shift of power from ego-driven control to spirit-led authority. It is a humble claiming of your divine right to flow with the rhythms of grace rather than fight against them. Let your mind become a temple of peace, your heart a vessel of courage. Speak this aloud as a seal. I prepare my mind and heart for sacred surrender. I welcome transformation with open arms. This is your altar preparation. This is your spiritual clearing. It readies you to speak release not in weakness, but in holy strength. Surrender is not the end of your power. It is its true beginning. The moment you release what no longer serves, you step into a higher authority, a greater wholeness. You reclaim your power not by holding tight, but by trusting deeper. You transform from captive to conqueror, from victim to victor, from burdened to blessed. Understand this truth deeply. Surrender is the act of claiming divine authority over your life. When you let go with faith and gratitude, you no longer give your power away, you take it back. You are not empty, you are free. You are not lost, you are found. You are not weak, you are aligned. Declare your new identity boldly. I am whole, I am complete, I am aligned with divine will. This is your proclamation, your banner, your song. It signals to heaven and earth that you walk no longer in limitation, but in limitless grace. Scripture reminds us in 2 Corinthians 12:9, "My grace is sufficient for thee, for my strength is made perfect in weakness." Let this be your comfort and your courage. In your release, grace fills every gap. Strength rises from every surrendered struggle, and you stand not diminished, but lifted. Your power now flows from spirit, not ego. Your victory is no longer measured by control, but by peace. And peace is the highest expression of divine power. Speak your new power aloud. I reclaim my power through surrender. I am lifted by divine grace. I walk in peace and authority. Let the old stories of limitation fall away. Let your soul wear this new crown of freedom and sovereignty. You are no longer defined by what you held on to. You are defined by the truth you now embody. So stand tall, speak true, walk free. Because you have let go, and in that letting go, you have become more powerful than ever before. Now that you understand the sacred power of surrender and have reclaimed your authority, it is time for practical action. I give you a command, not to punish, but to empower. For the next 7 days, choose one thing in your life that you have been holding on to out of fear, habit, or confusion. It may be a relationship, a belief, a job, a grudge, or a limiting identity. And every morning and night, you will speak a sacred declaration over this thing, releasing it with love and opening space for divine transformation. Here is your declaration to speak with breath and conviction. I release this with love and gratitude. I surrender it to divine order and welcome the blessings that now flow. This is not a one-time phrase. It is a daily spiritual exercise. Every repetition digs deeper into your subconscious, rewiring your mind and body for peace and renewal. It reminds your spirit that you are no longer captive to old chains, but are walking forward with grace. Watch your reactions closely. When old thoughts or emotions rise, do not suppress or deny them. Instead, use your spoken word to override them. Say the declaration louder, with more feeling. Let it be your shield against the temptation to retreat. Remember, surrender is a process, not an event. Each day, as you speak your word and align your spirit, you will find new strength, new clarity, and new freedom. This is how divine transformation unfolds, step by step, word by word, moment by moment. Share your experience when you feel ready. Testify to the shifts in your spirit and your circumstances. Your story will inspire others to step into their own sacred surrender. Say now, I accept this challenge. I speak with faith. I embrace divine renewal. Walk in this commitment and watch how the invisible rearranges to meet your word. Now we seal the journey with affirmations, words not whispered but proclaimed with the rhythm of liberation. These declarations are not mere thoughts. They are spiritual anchors. They set the vibration that your life will follow. Speak them aloud with breath, with fire, with unwavering faith. Repeat after me. I release with love and gratitude. I open to better good now. I am free from all that binds. I walk in divine timing and peace. I am whole, complete, and restored. Say these words not as hopes, but as realities. Let them ring through every cell. Let them dissolve every trace of old pain and resistance. Let them call forth the new chapter with clarity and power. And now, speak the closing seal. I am free, I am whole, I am loved beyond measure. This is your new anthem, your spiritual signature, your declaration to heaven and earth that you have stepped into freedom. Say it again, strong and clear. I am free, I am whole, I am loved beyond measure. Feel it, own it, live it, and so it is. Now that you have taken this sacred step toward freedom and renewal, I invite you to make your journey visible, not for praise, but as a spiritual testimony. Share below the phrase or attachment you are ready to release. Write it not as a whisper, but as a vow, a spiritual contract with yourself and the unseen. Type your release as a sacred declaration, your commitment to surrender, your opening to blessing. And if this teaching has stirred your soul, if it has awakened your courage, subscribe, not for more content, but for continued alignment. Let this channel be your sanctuary, your reminder, your place of return when the old tries to call you back. Remember this, you are free, you are whole, you are infinitely loved, and no word spoken in readiness can be undone. Speak your release, walk in your power, and step into the life prepared for you, and so it is.